Number 25, Nicole Drunick. She will serve it up to begin this match in Durham, North Carolina. Away we go here at Cameron Indoor Stadium. They set it up for Johnson, and off the block, ricochets it out of bounds. Kill for Johnson, 1-0 Duke.
First kill of the night for Johnson, and I have a feeling that won't be the last.
181 kills for Johnson this year. That leads the team. Also has 25 service aces, leads the Blue Devils in that department as well. Here's Fiona Schrader, and whistle, net violation on Duke. And we're tied at 1 apiece.
It's not really unusual to see mistakes like that early on in the game. I was watching a lot of footage on Duke. They do a really great job pressing over the net on the block, but kind of the double-edged sword of that is sometimes you might land yourself in a little bit of net trouble.
Alyssa Menitsis will serve. 5-foot freshman serves it up for the Fighting Irish, almost an ace. Two-hand tap over by Bryant. Drunick lines it up for McDowell. She's blocked. Here's Palazzolo, mistimed the jump and the hit, and it goes down for a point for Duke.
Even with how amazing Palazzolo is, that was a little bit of a trap set. There's really not a whole lot you can do with that. You see it's really tight, it's really outside. She tries to kind of tool off with her left hand, but really just a mistimed set.
Here's Gracie Johnson to serve. Little hop, skip, and a jump serve for the Blue Devils, and too strong. It's out of bounds, and a point for Notre Dame, tied at 2 apiece. So Notre Dame in the preseason, a 10th place pick in the ACC, entering the season, 8-4 record, 2-2 in the league. Led by second-year head coach Salima Rockwell. Here is the libero, Hattie Monson to serve, number 8 in the white jersey. Tees it up for Keefe. Oh, she is denied up front by number 14, Lauren Tarnoff. Access denied by Tarnoff.
Tarnoff, the 6'2" middle blocker, absolutely did a fantastic job pressing over the net. Let's take another look at that. She knew exactly where it was going and did that with some authority.
The overpass by Duke over the net, and Palazzolo knocks it down, and Notre Dame leads it 4-2. It's a Notre Dame team that runs a 5-1 offense. Won 6 straight matches early on in the season, then lost 2. It's been kind of back and forth in the win-loss category here of late. That's blocked to the net by Notre Dame. Here's Lizzie Fleming over the top, dig by Monson. Palazzolo goes to the line, dug out by Worthington. They set it up for Keefe, the left-hander, and it's straight down after the block, but it goes down to the point for Duke. Kill by Keefe, and a side out for the Devils.
And that's a fantastic out-of-system play. Over here we can see Salima Rockwell, who obviously, as we talked about before, is a decorated coach here, welcomed into the ACC.
Yeah, former 3-time All-American setter at Penn State back in the day, now in her second season coaching this Notre Dame team. 4-3, Duke serving down 1. Almost an ace. Out of system ball. Free ball over by Monson. Johnson, Worthington, back set for Keefe, cranks it up, and just sails it long out of bounds, and a point for Notre Dame. The head coach for the Duke Blue Devils in her 25th season, Jolene Nagel, over 400 career wins at Duke. Getting close to that 500 mark, has a chance to do that this year.
She is absolutely so close. Jolene was obviously here when I was here. She's such a talented coach and really just has a calm sense of urgency whenever she's working with her players.
Here's Palazzolo, cranks it up down the line, and in there for the kill by Palazzolo. That's her first. Leads the team with 192 kills this year. Also a good server, 22 aces on the season.
I just love her range. You really never know where she's going to swing because she has such a good arsenal of shots.
Bump set by Bryant. Here is Richardson, and this time the jump and hit it into the net. Hitting error by Richardson, and a point for Notre Dame. Irish lead at 7-3.
The Duke passing really needs to improve. I'm keeping track over here, and it looks like they're passing under a 1.2. Typically, you rate your passes on a scale of 1 to 3. And you need to be passing about a 2.5.
Riley Cadle knocks it down. That's her first kill. 6-foot junior middle from Parker, Colorado, knocks it down. Much needed point and side out for Duke.
And that's really what happens when you get a great pass. You have all of your hitters available to be set.
Good serve by Duke, and that'll be a service ace. Point for Duke, down 2 now, 7-5. Here's Carrie Keefe. Serving for Duke, 6'3", sophomore outside hitter from Pacific Palisades, California. 174 kills on the season, entering tonight, second best on this Duke team. And serves it up with the left hand. Right at Monson. Back set. And Tarnoff is blocked, but it's out of bounds off a Duke kill by Tarnoff. That's her first, and a point for Notre Dame.
I like seeing the diversity in the offense. I know we talked about, Notre Dame really just feeding the outside, but the more that you can establish the middle, the harder it's going to be defended by your opponent.
And that'll be a service ace by Notre Dame, second one of the set, and the Irish go up 9-5 here in set number one. And serving now is Sydney Palazzolo. We talked about her in the open. The transfer from High Point. Dangerous attacker, dangerous setter. Here's the running jump serve here by Palazzolo, too deep, out of bounds, free point for Duke.
And Duke really can't take a spare breath right now, even though she's in the back row, because they will find her. We saw in the clips leading into this game, they do a great job still setting her even when she's in the back row.
Rachel Richardson to serve for Duke, and a deep one right at Callie Dockery, who's in. Here is Ava Lang, way out of bounds, too wide of the line, and a point for Duke.
They were hoping to get a little bit of a touch on that. And as a reminder, you can use a green card, which is a challenge to see if there really was a touch or if a ball was in or out.
Richardson serving, and almost an ace. Here is Lang over the top, blocked. Oh, she is denied by Riley Cadle, number 6 in white for Duke.
That kind of stuff just isn't going to fly against a block like Duke's. Let's take another look at that out-of-system set. Absolutely crushed. Great timing by the Duke block.
Richardson serves again. Drunick sliding over Tarnoff. Dig by Richardson. Bump set by Keefe. Here is Gracie Johnson on the attack. Puts it down. Kill by Gracie Johnson, her second of the night.
And we call that a 4-to-4 shot. So we can see she went up, kind of thumb down, and absolutely annihilated the ball right at the tee of the court where that 3-meter line is. That's pretty much undefendable.
Richardson serving again. Almost an ace. Here's Lang, cranks it up and hits the antenna. Attack error by Lang. Point for Duke, and the Devils back in the lead by 1.
The whole momentum of this game just really shifted here really fast. It really wasn't point-for-point volleyball until this run.
Richardson serving again. Right at Dockery. Drunick from the back row is Palazzolo. Hits the tape, and it goes out of bounds, and a point for Duke. So what do you see in Duke here after being down 9-4? It's up 11-9.
Oh, timeout by Notre Dame. So clearly they're trying to stop some of that great momentum.
We'll get back to that thought in a moment. In set one, Duke 11, Notre Dame 9 here on ACC Network Extra.
Hey, Jake from State Park.
The 6-0 scoring run here by Duke, Haley. And what has Duke done differently here? It got out to a slow start at the beginning of the set, lately on a 6-0 run.
They really haven't had to do a whole lot, so they're only hitting 100 right now, which really isn't that impressive. But when you look over at Notre Dame, they were doing a great job. All of a sudden, in the last 6 points, they've had 5 attack errors. They're hitting a negative 0.83. So really, Duke hasn't even had an opportunity to do anything because the Fighting Irish aren't really giving them any offense to play with.
Jolene Nagel said, the coach for Duke, said in the 2 losses last weekend at Miami, at Florida State, she felt her team played tight in the matches. Lost both matches. I saw the team warming up today 2 hours before the game, and the team had smiles bouncing up and down. It looked loose. And you got to be that way sometimes, right?
And it's a fun day, right? It's alumni weekend. It's Dig Pink today. They have a lot of fun stuff going on, which I think is perfect timing.
Sliding over and getting the kill is Riley Cadle again. Her second kill for Riley Cadle, 6-foot junior middle from Parker, Colorado.
Let's take another look on the slide right in between the block. And as we've talked about, it's really hard to cheat on Duke when it comes to that offense.
Little joust at the net, over and kept alive by Monson for Notre Dame. Off balance attack by Lang, diving, sliding dig by Bryant. Here is Keefe over the top of the left hand of the dig by Drunick. Bump set here by Monson. For the back row is Palazzolo, and she's blocked. Attack again. This time it goes down by Nicole Drunick, the setter. That's her first kill of the night.
Great sequence by both teams, and something that I think both teams do a really great job of is their out-of-system plays. So they do a good job of putting up a high ball to the pin and just letting their attackers be tall. These are 2 really long teams in terms of height.
Notre Dame serving, now serving number 2, Maisie Alexander, 5'4", sophomore from Portland, Oregon, serves it up right at Nikki Underwood. Bump set here by Duke. Free ball over by Keefe. Point continues to the Notre Dame side. Drunick sliding over McDowell. Blocked and denied by Riley Cadle. She has been so active here in the first set.
She has been absolutely electric for the Blue Devils. Let's take another look at that. We can see she did a great job setting that block. It's really the job of the pin blocker to be able to get up and set that block so the middle blocker can close, and she did just that.
Duke by 3. Duke serving. Here's Drunick for the back rows. Palazzolo, down it goes. Kill by Sydney Palazzolo. 3rd kill of the night. The transfer from High Point, last year's Big South 2022 Player of the Year.
And what I love about that is actually the set wasn't the correct tempo she was expecting. She was hitting that ball on the way down, but she's really athletic. She's really talented. She's able to adjust and still get a kill off that.
Irish serving. Bryant handled the setup, and it goes out of bounds. Hits the antenna, and a point for Notre Dame.
Duke really needs to be careful here in serve receive. They've actually yet to have a perfect pass in serve receive. They're passing about a 1.07 right now. You really want to be passing closer to a 2.2 or 2.25 as a team.
Drunick serving. That's a good serve. Set up by Worthington. Here's Gracie Johnson, and that's out of bounds. Wide of the line, and a point for Notre Dame.
On the bright side, that was their first perfect pass. But on a perfect pass, you don't necessarily just want to feed the outside that's been continually really great for you. You want to start to get other people into the offense so that they're not just setting up on Johnson and waiting for her.
Worthington back to Johnson, cranks it up, and that is out of bounds off of Notre Dame. No, it's out of bounds off of Duke at a point. No, I was right the first time. It's a point for Duke.
I know, the line judge said one thing, the up ref said another thing, so it was a little bit confusing there for a moment, but definitely point Duke.
3 kills now for Gracie Johnson. Duke in the lead by 1 here in the first set. Received by Monson. Back set for Schrader, the left-hander, out of bounds. Duke wants a touch. Make it a Notre Dame wants a touch on Duke. Doesn't get the call. Point Duke.
And again, that's the 7th attack error for Notre Dame, and Duke has 15 points, so about half of their points have just been unearned from mistakes on Notre Dame.
Bump set by Palazzolo. Here is an attack by Duke. By Notre Dame, I should say. There's a joust over and down by Avery Ross, who checked into the game for the first time. Avery Ross, 5'9" sophomore outside hitter from Pendleton, Indiana.
Although she's a bit of an undersized outside for the ACC, we can see her timing is just impeccable. And on balls like that, you always want to be the second person, as counterintuitive as that sounds.
Benitez serving. Good serve by Benitez. Here's Grant Johnson. Great. Cranks it up, and it's out of bounds off of Notre Dame. Killed by Johnson again, her 4th. She had 25 kills and hit .429 in the loss at Florida State on Sunday.
She enters the back row now, so Duke is really going to have to find someone else who's going to give them that offensive production.
Hop, skip, and a jump serve by Johnson, received by Benitez. Set it up for Palazzolo. Dig by Worthington. Bump set by Bryant for the back row. Johnson. Kept alive by Benitez.
I can't believe that's live.
Free ball over by Monson. Point continues. Worthington back set. Keefe cranks it up. Oh, she is denied up front by Sydney Palazzolo.
And you can't forget Sydney Palazzolo, even though she's around tall people, so you really can't tell how tall she is. She's 6'3". So when she gets up there at the net, there's a good chance it's over 10 feet high. And the net's about 7 feet high, so she's getting up really, really high, so you have to be able to tool off her hands or go high hands.
Overpass on the serve receive, and that's a violation on Duke, and a point for Notre Dame, tied at 16 apiece.
That's a really tough pass, especially when your setter is back row, because they have to reach back over the net to try to pull it over, and they're going to get called over the net just like that every time.
Hattie Monson to serve, the libero for Notre Dame. Oh, too long in the serve, out of bounds, and a free point for Duke. So Duke goes back on serve. We talked with Coach Jolie Nagel before the game about her Duke squad, asked her what are the keys to the game, and she said the biggest key right now is to focus on us and play well. Wants to have her team have good communication, serve well, limit the errors, and play a consistent match as Duke serves up 1, 17-16, and there's a kill by Palazzolo again.
This is a rotation that Notre Dame is really going to want to stick in. If you look into the back row, they have a libero and 2 defensive specialists. Let's take another look at this play. Sydney Palazzolo absolutely putting it away. And she's still in the front row. They have one more rotation with her in the front row, so you want to get a run in this rotation.
Back set for Keefe, throws it down. Kill by Carrie Keefe. That's her second of the match. Named to the All-ACC freshman team a year ago.
She's been a little quiet this match, but I think that really comes down to the passing. They just haven't been able to give her the ball.
Keefe serves, bump set here by Palazzolo. Free ball over by Monson, barely cleared the tape. Worthington to the other side, Richardson, dig by Menezes. Drunick sets it up for Palazzolo, dig by Johnson. Worthington is there and sets it up for Keefe. Blocked up front again by Sydney Palazzolo.
Again, Sydney Palazzolo is everywhere. She's about to step behind the service line now. I believe her last serve was an error. But again, really need to lock in here. Every point counts. It's a game to 7. This is not the time to have service errors.
Palazzolo serves a deep one at Richardson. Worthington is there, sets it up for Johnson, gently over the top. Diving, saving dig by Dockery, and that is blocked over the net by Duke. Free ball over by Monson. Point continues. Worthington to the other side. Richardson blocked. Kept alive on the Duke side. Here's Richardson again. Cranks it up and sails it wide of the line, out of bounds. Good rally and a point for Notre Dame.
Let's take a look at that incredible dig over here. We kind of got a hook. And it's live. Notre Dame extending these rallies. That's Kaylee Dockery, defensive specialist.
Back over the net on the overpass by Duke. Here is Ross throwing it down. Avery Ross off the bench. Played in 27 matches last year, had 17 starts. Limited playing time so far this year. Timeout taken by Jolie Nagel and Duke.
We can see here a little bit out of system, a little crazy, and she's still able to put that down through the defense. Duke is kind of running like a pseudo perimeter defense, and she was just really able to find that court.
There you see Salima Rockwell, the head coach of Notre Dame, in her second season. Asked her before the match what she likes about this team. She says she loves this team right now. She wasn't sure what this team would be like as it added new pieces to the team in the offseason, but she knew it would be successful. It has a great work ethic, she says, and is striving to get better. Says it's been able to learn from its mistakes early on this year, and says this team is open to the process of improving. Just a really close-knit group. You see the Notre Dame Fighting Irish season so far. Started out 2-2, won 6 straight, swept last weekend. But doing a fine job is Salima Rockwell in year number 2 at Notre Dame.
Absolutely, and again, 5 points left in this game. They have to keep their good momentum. They had a little bit of a lull in the middle of the set, which really allowed Duke to come back. They need to lock it down, figure out a way to not only feed one player, even though she's doing amazing, they need to find other players who are able to get that offensive production.
So after the timeout taken by Duke, 20-18, Notre Dame in the lead. Notre Dame serving. Notre Dame, the preseason 10th place pick in the ACC this year. Duke, the preseason 7th place pick in the very good Atlantic Coast Conference. Worthington sets it up, sliding over is Cadle again and knocks it down for the kill. Oh, Riley Cadle, 3 kills on the night.
What a swing. Let's take another look at that. We can see she's going in for the slide. There's a big gap. She could have hit it cross, but she decided to take about 6 inches of line and make something out of that.
Duke down 1 on serve. Sliding over is Tarnoff. Gets the kill. Lauren Tarnoff, her second kill. 6'2" senior middle from Huntington Beach, California.
And again, that's what we were just talking about, wanting to get more production from other players. So we obviously have Palazzolo, who has 4 kills. You have Ross, who has 2. And now Tarnoff also has 2. But again, you really need some more diversity within your offense.
Maisie Alexander serves for Notre Dame in the lead by 2. They set it up for Johnson. Look out. Down it goes. Kill by Johnson. That's her 5th of this first set.
Johnson, another player who's really leading in kills for the match tonight. She's leading the entire game with 5, and she's really been dominant.
And Notre Dame is challenging the last call. Notre Dame thought it was out. It was called in, a kill by Johnson, as the call stands for now, 21-20. Duke down 1 here in the first set.
And what's really nice about the green cards these days, or the challenges, is that if you win the challenge, you get your challenge back because you only have so many challenges per game. So right there, it really didn't look like there was a touch. And a lot of times as a coach, you ask your players, hey, did you touch it? You know, you don't want to burn a challenge. But even if they did touch it, it's nice because, you know, you get a little bit of an extra timeout. But I really am not seeing that touch there.
And like you said, if you win the challenge, you retain the challenge. You're allowed 2 challenges per match. If you win the challenge, you retain the challenge. If you challenge and lose the challenge, then you lose that particular challenge. You are granted 1 additional challenge in the 5th set if it goes that far, not to exceed 2 challenges in that set. Let's take another look.
I don't see any finger movement at all from Drunick. I mean, typically you would have, if there was a touch, you'd have a pinky pulled back, you'd see different spin on the ball, you would see a direction move on the ball. So I'm a little bit lost on that, but I will say I saw the initial call from the line judge was an in call. So it was a little bit confusing to me why they called a no touch ruling if the line judge said it was in, so it wouldn't have mattered anyway. So we'll take a look. Looks like we're about to have a verdict.
Out of bounds, they say, and the point is reversed. So you take the kill off the board from Johnson. You take the point off the board for Duke. Instead of 20-19, Duke trailing. It's now 22-19, Notre Dame in the lead.
Coach Rockwell 1-0 on her challenges. That's pretty good. You can see Coach Jolene Nagel not too happy about that one, but she reviewed the tape. She might have my same question on, but the line judge said it was in, so why is the ruling that way? It looks like the up ref must have overruled the in call to say it was a touch.
Serving is Alexander, a sharp one right at Underwood. Sliding over is Cadle again, and another kill by Cadle. Cadle's killing it here tonight in the first set.
No pun intended. And that's really a point that Notre Dame can't let hit the floor. Theoretically, you want the other team to tip at you, right? It's typically an easy ball if they're tipping. So if you're not able to pick up that tip, the other team is going to keep doing it until it doesn't work.
And a service ace. Riley Cadle making an impact here in the first set. She has 4 kills in the set. There's a service ace, and she pulls Duke to within 1, 22-21. Here's Cadle to serve it again. Drunick sets it up for Palazzolo. Gets another kill. Wow, indeed. Kill by Palazzolo. That's her 5th, and now Notre Dame 2 points away from the set.
That's a tough rotation to stay in because if you're Duke, you have a middle in the back row who absolutely got sharpshooted back there. That can be really, really difficult for Cadle.
Serving is Drunick, the setter. Overpass, little joust, and it's back on the Duke side. Bump set by Bryant. Here is Johnson, swiftly over the top, and the dig by Ross. They set it up for Ross, goes right hand, and then they say, is it a net violation on Duke?
They called it down, so they're saying that that was not a pancake, but it looks like Coach Jolene Nagel is going to take a timeout anyway on set point Notre Dame.
So timeout Duke, its final timeout of the set. Notre Dame in the lead by 3, 24-21 here in set number 1.
Again, this has been really point-for-point volleyball. For the most part, aside from that 6-0 run Duke had to get them back into this set, but it just seems like there's been a little bit of a breakdown in communication here at the end, and it's really just going to come down to that serve and pass game.
There's a look at the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, 1 point away from taking the set. This team last year 10-18, right now 8-4. Here's a look at Sydney Palazzolo, played at High Point for a couple of years, the Big South Player of the Year a year ago. And how about her numbers this season with Notre Dame? Haley, 4.1 kills per set, leads the entire conference. That's saying something.
Absolutely. We've talked about it all night. She's been an absolute offensive weapon, and when things get tight, you kind of know who the ball is going to. I would not be surprised if they find her right now, whether she's the front row, whether she's the back row. They're going to give the ball to her because she finds a way to put it away.
So Palazzolo, good addition to this Notre Dame team. Last year with High Point, 443 kills, led the team. Leads Notre Dame in kills this year, leads the ACC, as we said, in kills per set. And Coach Rockwell says that Palazzolo, she's the epitome of a good six-rotation player, brings stability to this team, never gets tired, says when she's on the court, everything seems to be so calm and okay when she's out there. Set point here for Notre Dame, leading at 24-21. Here's Keefe over the top, and dig by Palazzolo. Bump set here by Drunick. Here's Ross, cranks it up, and fights through the double block and gets the kill and the point, and that is it for set number one.
Boston College has had a bit of a rough season, but Boston College could notch a win off of, Louisville anytime.
We begin set number two. Here is Duke on the right side of the other side of your screen, and there's a shot and a kill by Rachel Richardson. That's her first, and it's 1-0 Duke.
And I think the big difference in this game is going to be the passing. I was keeping track of the passing. Duke was only passing about a 1.45 in the first set. As I've mentioned, they really need that to be closer to a 2.25, while Notre Dame was passing a 2.3 and now just had a 0 pass, as we can see. So it's been really difficult. I think that's another reason why we're really not seeing a whole lot of middle action from Duke.
Service ace by Madison Bryant, the libero. She'll serve it again. This time, another service ace back-to-back for Madison Bryant, and a 3-0 Duke lead in the second set.
Duke is coming out with a bit of a vengeance after that close loss, and we know that they can be a little bit streaky. They had a 6-0 run, and then they get behind. They like to trail from behind for sure.
This time, service error by Bryant, and Notre Dame back on the board for the first time, down 3-1. Now serving is number 8, Hattie Monson, the libero for Notre Dame. Has a good serve for this team and serves a sharp one. Good pass there by Johnson over the top by Cadle. Point continues on the Duke side. Back set, Cadle. Make it Keefe rather, and Keefe knocks it down. Kill by Carrie Keefe, her third of the match, and Duke in the lead, 4-1.
Like I mentioned before, she's been a little bit quiet, but 6'3" Keefe, when she gets a hold of the ball, has an angle like no other. I mean, that's pretty much undefendable.
Serving is Keefe. Back on the overplay, the joust. Oh, and Cadle mishandles the opportunity to slam it down. Hitting error by Cadle, and a point for Notre Dame.
Now, we like to call that a tactical overpass, clearly on purpose.
So back to serve for Notre Dame is number 5, Kaylee Dockery, 5'8" sophomore from Murphy, North Carolina. Had 161 digs for the Irish last year. Hop, skipping a jump serve, and right into the net. Free point for Duke, and Duke back on serve in the lead by 3.
Notre Dame really just giving points away at this point. A lot of unforced errors early on, and that's really not going to play against a talented Duke team.
Rachel Richardson serving, and right at Benitez. Little joust, and over and down. Oh, how active has Riley Cadle been tonight?
She has been absolutely electric, as we talked about, and I feel like she was heating up at the end of that first set, so I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of her this second set. We know Richardson had a great service run. This is just a great rotation for Duke to be in.
Palazzolo, down it goes. Kill by Sydney Palazzolo. That's kill number 6 tonight for the 6'3" junior.
Notre Dame definitely working to get back. They had a hitting percentage of 200 in the first set, and we were chatting before the game about whenever Duke hits about a 200, they win the set, or the match, I should say.
Sliding over is Cadle, dig by Monson. Drunick for the back row. Palazzolo puts it away. Kill by Sydney Palazzolo. Oh, bringing the heat on that last shot. She has 7 kills on the night.
Let's take another look at this incredible kill from the back row. A little bit of a trick play, as you can see. We call that a BIC when it's kind of a quicker tempo back row set.
Duke receives the serve. Here's Johnson over the top. Oh, miss hit it. Hit it too softly. Hitting error by Johnson at Notre Dame. Down 1 now, 6-5 in the second set.
That's a bit of an uncharacteristic mistake by her. A little bit surprised, but looking at this back row lineup, I wouldn't be surprised if they start to pick on her on serve.
Palazzolo serves at Johnson. They crank it up for Johnson, and that's touched out of bounds. Kill by Johnson, number 5 of the night.
And one thing, if you're Notre Dame, you want Johnson to have to work really hard. She's leading this entire match so far in kills, so put every single ball on her. Hit to her, serve to her, make her as tired as possible so that she's less effective.
Here's Ross, blocked, but it goes down on the Duke side. Kill by Avery Ross. That's her 5th kill. And it's 7-6 in favor of Duke as substitutions come in for both teams. Now back to serve for Notre Dame, Maisie Alexander, the 5'4" sophomore from Portland, Oregon.
Avery Ross sneaking up on Palazzolo in terms of kills.
Bump set by Bryant. Here's Johnson over the top of the dig by Alexander. Bump set by Dockery. Ross over the top, denied and blocked by Lizzie Fleming.
What a cover.
Ross again, dig by Bryant. Bump set and a save by Duke, and that's over the net by Johnson. To the other side, Ross again, and another kill by Avery Ross. 6 in the match so far tonight.
Only 1 behind Palazzolo. I really like to see her rising up to this because, as I was telling you before, the offense for Notre Dame was getting a little bit one-dimensional, and you can win one set with one hitter, but you can't win a whole match with one hitter.
Tied at 7. Johnson over the top with the right hand, barely dug out by Dockery. Hit over the top, back over by Duke. The dump over, and Duke was ready for it. Worthington, Fleming, out of bounds off of Fleming. A rare attack error by Fleming. That's only her 5th attack error for the entire season.
That's definitely very unusual. She's a very consistent player, but again, you get into these matches and it's high pressure and the defense is good and you just are trying to find the court.
Johnson puts it down. Kill by Johnson. That's her 6th. You know, Johnson in her last match on Sunday at Florida State at the 5-setter had 25 kills and hit 429 for the match.
Looks like Duke is back in rotation 1, which is definitely one of their stronger rotations.
Worthington serves right at Notre Dame. Drunick to the other side. Here's Ross and the dig by Johnson. Worthington is there. Back to Johnson. Look out. And fights through the block and scores the kill on the point.
Johnson now ties Palazzolo with 7 kills so far this match. What a swing. Again, we've seen her hit line. We've seen her tip. We've seen her hit cross. We've seen her hit off hands. She just has such an arsenal.
Here's Bryant to the other side, goes to Keefe, cranks it out of the dig by Monson, high in the air, set by Drunick. Here's Palazzolo gently over the top, sliding dig by Worthington, and one-hand tap. No, it hits the net. Hitting error by Johnson.
And those hitting errors are typically the ones that your coach would call unacceptable, right? She's standing flat foot. She's probably not going to get the kill. It's a broken play. You just want to live to the next play. You know you're probably not going to get a kill off of that ball.
Here's Nicole Drunick, the setter, played at Nebraska 1 year, 2 years at Georgia Tech. Now she's at another ACC school in Notre Dame. And how about the slam and the kill by Lizzie Fleming, her 1st kill of the night.
Fleming waking up in this match, and although we really haven't seen any kills from her yet, she still brings great energy and does a great job on the block. Look at that ball. That looks like a B-ball or a 32 that's kind of in between the blockers.
And a service ace by Gracie Johnson, and Duke in the lead by 2, 11-9. Here in the second set, Gracie Johnson, one of the tri-captains of this team. Coach Jolene Nagel says she's gained a ton of confidence this year. She's improved her serve-receive game. She's always been a good attacker. Service error right there, though, and a point for Notre Dame.
Again, this is just going to be one of those tooth-and-nail sets, and I would imagine tooth-and-nail matches where, again, it's that delicate line of you want to serve really aggressive because you don't want the other team just to slam you out of serve receive, but you don't want to make so many errors.
Worthington tees it up for Fleming. Dig by Monson. Set up by Drunick. Here's Palazzolo. Didn't have the angle. Hit the net.
Sharp.
And a point for Duke.
Monson has been incredible tonight. she has done just such a great job. It's really hard to go dig to transition to kill, right? It's really easy out of serve receive to get a kill. It's great off of a free ball or a tip, but to actually get a hard-driven dig and convert it into a kill is just really impressive.
Here's Bryant serving, almost an ace. Here's Palazzolo, cranks it up and puts it down. Kill by Sydney Palazzolo, her 8th kill of the night. Point for Notre Dame.
And that's only the second perfect pass out of serve receive that Notre Dame has had, so I'm not surprised they're going to give it to Palazzolo because that's kind of their go-to gal. You see she had a big gap in the block, but she decided to go inside out anyway.
Here's Keefe with the left hand, gently taps it over. Dig by Monson. She's been all over the place. Here's Schrader, dig by Johnson for Duke. Worthington sets it up for Richardson. Blocked and denied by Lauren Tarnoff, number 14 for Notre Dame.
Absolutely unbelievable play. Out of system set, right into the block, and you really have to, be a smarter hitter than that. You have a big block when Lauren Tarnoff is up there.
Worthington sets it up for Cadle, knocks it down. Oh, Riley Cadle, 6 kills on the night for number 6 on her jersey.
Answering right back after that play.
So now Carrie Keefe, number 11 in white, will serve for Duke. She had 12 kills, 7 digs in her last match on Sunday at Florida State. Serves sharply down the line. Drunick tees it up for Palazzolo, gently over the top. Little joust at the net and back on the Notre Dame side. Back in system. Here is Palazzolo. Gets another kill. Palazzolo, kill number 9 on the night.
And we've seen a lot of jousting tonight. There's been a lot of overpasses, a lot of really tight passes. It's been really exciting to see such big players up at the net being really athletic.
Palazzolo, you saw the numbers, 9 kills, hitting .227 herself here in this match. Tied at 13 in the second set. Dockery serves at Richardson. Worthington back set, sliding over Cadle, and it's just out of bounds. Well, you saw the fire in the eyes by Cadle. She wanted that one very badly. Point for Notre Dame.
And I think somebody who's been quietly doing a really good job is Richardson in serve receive this set. So the first set, she was definitely one of Notre Dame's serving targets, but right now, she's passing pretty much all dimes.
Worthington sets it up for Richardson. Blocked at the net, recovered by Notre Dame. Drunick. Tarnoff, yes, a kill by Lauren Tarnoff. That's her 3rd kill. And a point for Notre Dame. And we get a timeout on the court. In set 2, Notre Dame 15, Duke 13. Notre Dame leads the match 1-0. Back after this on ACC Network Extra.
When you order a Big Mac in the McDonald's.
Durham, North Carolina in set number 2. Notre Dame leads Duke 15-13. Irish lead the match 1-0 here at Cameron Indoor Stadium. Here's a look at the Duke Blue Devils season summary. Started out 0-2, then won 9 straight. Since then, it's lost 3 of its last 4 to really good ACC teams. You see the home record, the road and neutral sites record. Beat a good Creighton team in August. That was the team's first ranked win since 2019.
It's been really exciting to see so many ranked wins. Here, I just saw the other day, NC State beat Wisconsin as well. Another big ranked win out of conference. The ACC is really difficult. So even though we're kind of seeing them come off this, sweep weekend, they're still doing a great job overall.
Kaylee Dockery to serve for Notre Dame, leading at 15-13 in set 2, leading the match 1-0. Here's Richardson, cranks it up, and the dig by Monson back over the net on the Duke side. Worthington sliding over his Cadle again and knocks it down. A kill by Cadle.
The Duke offense is really starting to heat up. Before that timeout, in this last set, they were only hitting an 0-8-3, which isn't going to cut it. And I would imagine that they were talking about that a bit in the huddle.
Richardson serving for Duke. A let serve received by Notre Dame. Palazzolo up the top, and it's blocked. Kept alive by Notre Dame and punched over one-handed by Dockery. Nicely done. Here's Johnson and dig by Menezes. The dump over kept alive by Duke somehow, and a free ball is over the net by Worthington. Drunick, back set, Tarnoff, sliding dig by Sydney Yap, who's back in. Johnson down the line, gets the kill and a point for Duke.
This crowd is absolutely electric tonight. That was an absolute momentum-shifting point. Let's take a look at that dig by Sydney Yap. which led to that conversion. Looks like a little bit of a miscommunication on the block and then another miscommunication on the defense by Notre Dame. You can see coach isn't too happy about that. There's about to be a challenge, but I can't see quite yet what that challenge is for. There's quite a few things going on in that long rally.
There's Coach Salima Rockwell. She will challenge the call on the floor. Point for Duke as it stands now, 15-15 tie here in the second set.
So they're going to take a look. And again, there's multiple camera angles in this gym, thankfully, more so than some other gyms. So it's the job of the down ref to be able to sit there and go through each different angle to ensure whatever it is that they are looking for is very, very clear.
All right, so Duke lost a close first set. It's playing well here in set number 2. What do you like best and what you've seen in Duke here in the second set?
The passing has been phenomenal. They've not been aced one single time. And as you can see here, the defense really picked up, and it's just made it naturally really easy for them to pick up the offense. So it kind of started in that order. The passing got really good. The hitting was still struggling a little bit, and then the hitting caught up. So it's been really exciting to be able to see that.
Yeah, I'm like you. I'm not sure exactly what they're looking for from the challenge by Notre Dame. As we'll get some kind of a verdict here shortly. We're tied at 15 apiece. There's a look at Jolene Nagel in her 25th season. Her team's record in this building over the years, in 25 years, 270 wins, 93 defeats. That's not too shabby.
Not too shabby indeed, and they definitely do not want to make it 94 losses today. So this is a very important call. It's a big difference between 15-15 or 16-14.
There you see Duke being loose on the sidelines. We said earlier, Coach Nagel said in the 2 losses last weekend at Miami, at Florida State, she felt her team played too tight, especially early on. Her team almost came back from 0-2 down in sets at Florida State, lost in the 5th set. And her team tonight, before the game, smiles, jumping around, being loose, and playing loosely and well here in set number 2.
Looks like we may have a decision. It will be point Duke.
Yeah, we're not sure what they were looking at. Maybe a potential net violation. We're not sure. Either way, the call stands. It's a point for Duke. And we're tied at 15 apiece here in the second set. Here's Richardson to serve. A deep serve right at Benitez. Bump set here by Palazzolo. And here's Drunick. Oh, right into the net. Hitting error by the setter, Drunick, and a point for Duke.
Definitely some nervous errors I feel like I'm seeing. Whenever you see a high-level college player have a swing like that, it's typically a lot of nerves.
16-15, Duke in the lead by 1. Richardson serves again. Tough pass there by Benitez, and two-hand tap over by Palazzolo. Point continues, the dump over by Worthington, but Monson was ready for it. Here's Palazzolo. Whistle. Double contact, they say, on Notre Dame. The first one we've seen tonight. Point Duke.
And it's tough. There's no arguing on a double contact, right? It's completely a judgment call, and you can see Coach Salima, as a Penn State former setter, is not too happy about that.
Service error by Richardson. Point for Notre Dame, and the Irish back on serve. As Sydney Tomlak comes into the game for Duke, replacing Rachel Richardson. Back to serve for Notre Dame is Sydney Palazzolo. 9 kills so far on the night, averaging 4.17 kills per set this year to lead this team. And the ACC, and a service ace by Palazzolo. Good server as well. There's really nothing she can't do.
That is the first ace against Duke in this second set. And we kind of saw earlier a rare view of what Duke is probably going to run on this next point. We saw Emma Worthington kind of give up the shaka symbol behind her jersey to her team, which normally means she's going to want to run the slide. She's front row, and she only has 2 hitters, so that's only 2 options. No behind option unless she runs the middle behind her on that slide.
Palazzolo serves, too deep, out of bounds, and a free point for Duke. And Duke back in the lead by 1, 18-17 in the second set. Here comes Riley Cadle. She has played so well tonight. 7 kills in this match so far. Did not start in the match, but she's playing starter playing time. Serves it, and right at Palazzolo. Drunick sliding over Tarnoff, blocked by Duke. Kept alive by the Irish. Here's Ross over the top. Oh, she is denied by Lizzie Fleming, number 16 in white. Point Duke.
Again, uncharacteristic mistake by Avery Ross. She is hitting a 600 tonight, so she hasn't gotten a lot of kills, but she's been really low error.
Timeout taken by Salima Rockwell and Notre Dame. There's the look of the Duke Blue Devils. By the way, there's number 16 who just got a block tonight just a moment ago, Lizzie Fleming. She was honored before the match as she recorded this past weekend her 400th career total block in her years at Duke.
Incredibly exciting for her. We're going to take a look at that pregame ceremony for her where she got the ball, commemorating that huge accomplishment by Lizzie Fleming.
And a good attacker as well. Like we said, had only 4 attack errors all season coming into tonight. She has 1 tonight, I give her 5. But I asked Coach Jolene Nagel about that amazing stat. I said, you know, what makes her so efficient? And she had to think for a second. She says, Brock, it's been incredible. She says when she's on the court, she brings a calmness, and also she does a good job of just taking care of the ball, and also the other team's blockers have not figured out a way how to block her shot.
Exactly, and as a graduate student, you kind of have that seasoned veteran poise about you on the court. That's somebody that you want to give the ball, even though she doesn't have a ton of kills tonight. You want to give her the ball because you know that she's not going to make, you know, one of those errors that is just uncharacteristic of her.
Updated hitting numbers, Notre Dame hitting 182 as a team tonight. Duke hitting 085. Duke down 1 set, trying to even up the match at a set apiece. It is in the lead by 2, 19-17 in set 2, and little premature serve.
We have a baby ball on the court.
A ball from the stands came onto the court, and now it's back in the stands, and we're back on serve. Here is Riley Cadle to serve it up. Right at Dockery, Drunick tees it up for Palazzolo and puts it away. Kill by Palazzolo, now in double figures, 10 kills on the night.
It's honestly incredible that Duke is in the lead right now in this game, even though Notre Dame is hitting over a 3-3-3 in this set, and Duke is only hitting an 0-8-3. Very interesting, and now we can see that Notre Dame doesn't have a libero on the court, so this is going to be a tough rotation for them to stay in.
Alexander serves, received by Duke. Johnson puts it down. Kill by Gracie Johnson. That's her 8th and a point for Duke.
Gracie Johnson just moved herself to 2nd on the team in kills right now. But again, that high thumb down shot is so difficult to defend.
Duke
love the 4-4 shots.
Duke by 2 in the second set. Little overpass and a whistle. What do we have? We have double contact on Notre Dame. Another point for the Devils.
We might be seeing a timeout here soon by Coach Rockwell because it's just starting to get a little bit sloppy by Notre Dame. And anytime we start to see those sloppy plays, coaches typically like to slow things down. This is a hard gym to play in.
Oh, the dump over and a beauty by the center, Nicole Drunick, number 25 in navy blue, and a point for Notre Dame, now down 2.
And that's why teams love having a 6'1 setter who's really athletic. Let's take a look at that dump. She really hasn't done that tonight, so it makes it really difficult to defend. You kind of forget that she has that shot.
Here's Fleming, puts it down, kill by Fleming again. And for Fleming, that's her 2nd kill. And Duke 3 points away from taking the set.
Timeout, Notre Dame.
So timeout, Notre Dame. Duke in the lead by 3, 22-19 here in this second set. Duke was in a similar situation, Haley, 2 weeks ago, playing a very good Pittsburgh team. Duke lost that first set. Duke had 3 set points in the second set, could not convert. Duke lost the match in 3. So this is an important set here for Duke. Down a set, but up 3 in the second.
Absolutely. This is going to be really the decision-making set of the match, in my opinion, because as a team, it's really hard to rally for that third set when you're down 2 because you're just going to be playing even tighter. There's so much pressure on you to be perfect because if you don't win that set, you're going home.
We said that Duke lost twice last weekend at the Florida schools, Miami and Florida State. I asked Coach Jolie Nagel what's been the message to the team this week, and she said, she told the team it didn't help itself last weekend, but said, hey, it's only the second ACC volleyball weekend of the season. Says there's still a lot of volleyball to be played here in this league. She said, really, though, neither loss was a bad loss. You played at Miami, played at Florida State, almost pulled off an 0-2 sets deficit to win at Florida State. Again, this is a league top to bottom. Very good.
Exactly. We're going to take a look at those current standings. As we were just talking about, pretty good start for Georgia Tech, Pitt, Florida State, NC State. And then it kind of gets a little bit more split after that.
So out of the timeout, Duke and Notre Dame back on the floor. Duke by 3 in the second set, 22-19. Gracie Johnson, she will serve. 8 kills on the night here for Johnson. She will serve for Duke. Duke leading it by 3, 22-19. The serve by Johnson, a good one. And overpass over and down by Carrie Keefe. And now Duke 2 points away from tying up the match at a set apiece.
And I think what's really interesting was when I was tracking the serve receive, Duke was passing a 1.45 the first set, Notre Dame a 2.3. Now Notre Dame a 1.43, Duke a 2.29 in serve receive, and that just makes all the difference.
Oh, Schrader is denied by Lizzie Fleming up front. Oh, what a block. And now it's set point for Duke. 5 set points here for Duke in the second set. Good block by Lizzie Fleming. This is set point number 1 for Duke, and Gracie Johnson, right into the net. Free point for Notre Dame. It's now 24-20.
But honestly, that's the time to be aggressive, right? You're up about 5 points, and you're playing against a team that's passing about a 1.43. It's time to kind of put the gas on it a little bit.
Elisa Manitzis to serve for Notre Dame. Set point number 2 for Duke, received by Johnson. Worthington, here's Keefe for the set. Yes! A kill by Keefe, and that does it for set number 2. Carrie Keefe.
From the pins tonight from Notre Dame.
Drunick serves, and away we go. Set number 3 is underway. There's a free ball. It's over by Keefe. Point continues on the Irish side. Drunick setting up McDowell. Diving, saving dig by Tom Lack, and Johnson is blocked. Gets another shot at it. Johnson gets the kill. Gracie Johnson, kill number 10. 1-0 Duke in the third set.
What another amazing play. Let's take a look through the double block. It's pretty difficult to hit over a double block in the ACC.
Emma Worthington, hop, skip, and a jump serve for Duke. It's right at Ross. Drunick back to Ross, backpedaling. Didn't have the angle, hit it into the net. 2-0 Duke here in set number 3.
Notre Dame really needs not to let this momentum get away from them. They had kind of a lull there at the end of the game, and they're not starting out too hot in this third set.
Bump set by Schrader. Here is Ross, and another miss hit by Ross. Another point for Duke. 3-0 Blue Devils in the third.
Really another trap set. That's a really, really difficult set for her to hit, especially as a smaller outside hitter against a huge block. Really needs to have a better set.
Here's Worthington serving, the transfer from Cornell. Schrader, the left-hander. Oh, blocked and denied by Lizzie Fleming, her third block of the night.
Absolutely electric. Fleming has woken this gym up tonight.
4-0 Duke in the third set. Worthington serves right at Palazzolo. Drunick is there, setting up McDowell. Blocked, kept alive on the Duke side. Bump set by Bryant. Here is Keefe, the left-hander, and knocks it down. Kill by Keefe.
Really an uncharacteristic mistake over there by Monson on defense as well. She's moving a little bit. I just really think the team is nervous.
Timeout taken by Salima Rockwell, and Notre Dame will take it as well in set 3. Duke leads at 5-0, tied at 1 set apiece. Back after this.
Fun fact, people will still be...
Nagel having a bit of a conversation with the down ref, but apparently not persuasive enough to want to call a challenge.
3 straight points here by Notre Dame. Still down, though, 5-3 in the third. Here's Worthington, sets it up for Keefe, and in there for the kill. They they say. Point for Duke.
We can see Coach Salima kind of talking to the team to see if it was for sure out or she should use her challenge, but the team saw it in as well. Let's take a look.
Yep.
We can
good.
see Notre Dame block. Charity McDowell was really nowhere to be found on that play.
Service error by, service ace by Johnson. 7-3, Duke of the lead by 4. Here is Johnson serving again, a deep one at Monson. Running it down is Drunick, the setter. Here is Palazzolo, dig by a sliding Bryant. Worthington, back set, Keefe over the top, and pancake saving dig over the net by Notre Dame. Here's Richardson softly over the top, dig by Drunick. Monson is there, setting up the left-hander. Schrader blocked out of bounds, kill by Schrader again.
Another exciting play, but we can see Duke is not too happy about that. That's definitely a full pancake. So great play by the Fighting Irish.
Here's Monson to serve for Notre Dame. And we have a net violation on the Blue Devils and a point for Notre Dame.
This is where Duke really has to put their foot down and say no more points can be scored, especially off of those little mistakes like that, those avoidable mistakes.
7-5, Duke in the lead by 2. Here's Monson serving for Notre Dame, right at Richardson. Worthington is there for the back row. Johnson blocked, and she fights through the block, gets the kill on the point. Kill by Johnson, number 11, point Duke.
That's the delicate balance, right? You want your blocker up and over the net, but when that happens, they can potentially get in the net. And then when you have them back off of the net, it can be difficult because then they're blocking on their own side.
Point for Duke in the lead by 3, 8-5. Here's Bryant serving. Right into the tape. Service error by Bryant and a free point for Notre Dame.
You could see she was trying to serve short, kind of take the pin hitter out of the rotation. In serve receive, just not the best executed short serve we've seen tonight.
Here's Kaylee Dockery to serve for Notre Dame. And serves it deeply at Johnson. Worthington, back set for Keefe, cranks it up, and the dig by Monson. Bump set by Dockery. Here is Palazzolo over the top, deflected, but out of bounds, and a kill by Palazzolo. And for Sydney Palazzolo, kill number 11 on the night.
We knew this was going to happen. Sydney Palazzolo was going to play really great volleyball. And that, again, is what we've seen. She's up there with now 12 kills. Avery Ross, 6. Lauren Tarnoff, 3. And Fiona Schrader at 2. So moderately balanced spread.
Keefe, dig by Benitez. Running back there is Monson. And here is Palazzolo. Right into the net. There, hitting error by Palazzolo. Point for Duke.
Yes, very uncharacteristic mistake by her. But again, that's another one of those balls. It's coming from behind her, over her shoulder. And those are the hardest balls to hit.
Keefe serving. Duke in the lead by 2, 9-7. Drunick, here is Palazzolo, cranks it up. Big time kill by Palazzolo. Just too strong for Duke on that play.
She bounced back pretty well, I would say. I don't think it bothered her too much. Let's take a look. A great pass and a kill. But you can see Duke, they're trying to give her the ball. They're trying to work her in serve receive, because if you can get an outside hitter's serve receive to fall apart, a lot of times their whole game will fall apart.
Richardson on the attack, dig by Monson, bump set by Drunick. Here's Ross over the top. She's had a good match tonight. Freestyle play over the net somehow by Richardson. Ross again, down the hatch for the kill.
Duke does not look happy about that. You can see Johnson is really talking to Coach Nagel about a challenge, and she's charging for that card. I think we're gonna see her challenge tonight.
Originally, the call on the floor, in bounds, point Notre Dame. Jolene Nagel going to challenge this one. Right now, we're tied at 9 apiece. It could be 10-8, though, after a replay review.
And we remember in the last set, what really set that momentum off for Duke was, again, Notre Dame losing one of those challenges and that point differential coming into play. So let's take a look. Hard to tell from that angle. I definitely don't think there was a touch. That looks out.
definitely looks more out than in. And by the way, like we said, if you win the challenge, you retain the challenge. So you could be challenging all night, and if you win all the challenges, you still have 2 in your back pocket. Do you like the rule? If you win the challenge, you retain it all the time?
Love it. It was not like that my first year when they first initiated the challenges. And it was difficult. It was really disappointing that you would lose your challenge just for getting the call correct. So I think that that was a great update by the NCAA to make sure that that is not the case.
So they're checking all the camera angles, looking to see if the call will stand or be confirmed or be reversed.
And they likely have more camera angles than even we do here in production, so they're going to do their due diligence and look at each of those angles to ensure no confusion.
Yeah, the officials have a lot more angles to choose from than what we have at our disposal, but they're going to look at this up and down, left and right, back and forth, trying to see. And that looks like an out ball to me.
I would say I don't think it tagged the line. I definitely think that will be overruled, but this has been a great timeout either way.
Oh, call stands.
No. Call
stands.
Ooh.
Point for Notre Dame.
Well, they called it out, so that should be...
It was overruled.
Yes,
yeah,
an overrule. Okay,
yeah.
I was like, they called it out, so that should be actually the opposite.
Well,
And now they're going back.
Now they're going to change it again.
They're overruling the overruling. I have never seen that before.
I think the official on the floor pointed in the wrong direction accidentally, maybe.
But she signed that it was out. So, yeah, we're going to see the floor captains go ahead and approach the up ref, because down ref did point to Notre Dame and show an adjusted call out.
Yeah, the original call was in, a kill by Notre Dame.
Or a kill by Duke.
That was a kill by Notre Dame. It was Palazzolo. Here's Richardson to serve. So they changed the call. A little joust at the net. It's dug out by Worthington. Here's Johnson. Oh, mishit it into the net. And a point for Notre Dame.
And you know what they say, everybody? The first thing out of their mouths when that happens is ball doesn't lie. I remember in college we would say that every time. So it's good never to get too upset about a point, because you really do have to focus on the next point. There's 25 plus points in volleyball, and you really have to keep it moving and not get too emotionally invested over one.
Here's Maisie Alexander to serve. Made the All-ACC All-Academic team last year. Serves sharply right at Sydney Tomlak, who's back in. Here's Johnson over the top, and a dig over the net by Notre Dame. Worthington to the other side. Johnson, pancake saving dig by Notre Dame. Palazzolo, dig by Tomlak. Worthington sets up Cadle, dig by Dockery. Joust, no, it's a setup over the top, and the dig by Cadle. Worthington, Johnson, dig, no, it goes out of bounds, and a kill by Johnson, point Duke.
Absolutely fabulous defense by both teams. We're starting to see a lot of pancakes by Notre Dame, which, although they're very athletic and very impressive, a lot of times can also show incorrect positioning on defense.
Here's Riley Cadle to serve. She's played well tonight for Duke off the bench. Receiving the serve is Notre Dame, and a free ball over by Ross. Point continues. Here's Worthington to the other side. Johnson gently over the top, and down it goes! Kill by Johnson.
And that's kind of the play I was just talking about with Kaylee Dockery. The play before, she was able to get up there and get that pancake, but this time she really wasn't able to make it there. And I think it's a little bit of her not seeing through the block to be able to see what they're doing on defense. So sometimes you get lucky with a pancake and sometimes you don't.
Blocked, but straight down to the floor. Point for Notre Dame, as Palazzolo gets another kill, her 12th of the night, and it's 12-10 Duke. By the way, Palazzolo played at High Point. Her team is the preseason favorite to win the Big South this year. Just think how good that team would be if Palazzolo had stayed. There's Johnson, blocks, fights through it, against the kill. Point, Duke, kill Johnson, number 14. So here's Emma Worthington, the transfer from Cornell, was the team captain last year, led Cornell with 746 assists last year for the season. Here's Drunick setting it up for Lucy Trump, who's in for the first time. Battle at the net, whistle, net violation on Duke, and a point for Notre Dame.
Notre Dame got a little lucky on that. But they'll take it, I'm sure, especially moving them to just a 2-point differential.
You see the attack errors tied at 16 apiece in that category. Duke by 2. Notre Dame serving. Alyssa Benitez hops, skipping a jump serve, and too long out of bounds, and a point for Duke.
Ooh, that is a tough time to have a serving error. But again, we've really talked about that delicate balance between aggression and errors.
Service errors, Duke one more than Notre Dame. Here's Johnson serving, and now Duke 2 more than Notre Dame in the service error category. Point for the Irish.
They must have heard you. They must have heard you talking about it.
That's the thing, like you said, you got to serve aggressively, but also got to be careful. You don't want to give up free points. So 14-12, Duke in the lead by 2. Here's Monson serving right at Richardson. Worthington, here is Keefe. Down it goes. Kill by Keefe. And for Keefe, her 8th kill of the night. Point Duke.
And I really love these rotations because Duke has 3 hitters in the front row, and I think it really offsets Notre Dame's block. But even with a double block, she's able to really throw that thumb down and get that kill.
Here's Drunick, back set. Trump, and just long out of bounds. Point for Duke.
Duke starting to really get that breakaway here. We know that they love those mid-game breakaways.
Here's Madison Bryant serving for Duke. The libero, 17 kills in her last match on Sunday at Florida State. Serves it sharply at Benitez. Drunick, here is Palazzolo down the other side. No, it's wide out of bounds, and a point for Duke.
And looks like no challenge is going to be taken on that from Notre Dame. I was a little bit curious if they were thinking about challenging it, but not many challenges left at this point.
17-12, Duke in the lead by 5. Bryant serving. Here's Drunick setting up Palazzolo. Touched out of bounds off of Duke, they say, and a kill for Palazzolo. Point for Notre Dame.
And again, that is only the 3rd perfect pass out of serve receive that Notre Dame has had. Duke is doing a great job keeping the ball off of what I would call the littles, or the defensive specialists, and really making the outsides work for it.
Here's Lucy Trump to serve for Notre Dame. Did not play in the first 2 sets. Back over the net on the overpass by Duke. Drunick sliding over. Tarnoff. Down it goes. Kill by Lauren Tarnoff. Her 4th kill of the night.
Not too shabby, huh? I love to see the slides out of Notre Dame. I think it really gives that depth to their offense.
Here's Lucy Trump serving. Led the team as a freshman last year in kills with 252. And there's a service ace by Trump, and Notre Dame, little run here, only down 2 in the 3rd set.
And we can see this is a difficult rotation for Duke. You can see setter Emma Worthington kind of tucked over to the corner. She has to run all the way across the court, spin around to get that pass. And right there is kind of why that rotation is really difficult, because if the serve tapers over the net or is short, it really causes a traffic jam, because no matter what, your setter is supposed to release and run, which can also kind of hurt the visibility of your passers.
Let's serve ace for Trump. She'll serve it again. Aggressively, she serves it at Richardson. Here is Johnson for the back row, and another kill by Johnson. Point Duke. Kill number 15 for Johnson.
I think that's Keefe's first assist of the night. Pretty good right there. Let's take another look. And what's crazy is normally most teams don't do a double block on the BIC or the back row attack. But when you have Johnson back there, you have to, because she's still so aggressive.
Drunick sets it up for Palazzolo down the line. In there for the point. The kill by Palazzolo. Give her 14 in the match. And back and forth we go here in the 3rd set. Duke leading it by 1. Notre Dame back on serve. Here is Sydney Palazzolo. 14 kills in the match. Her career high is 25 kills. Good 6 rotation player for this team. Running jump serve sharply at Johnson who received it. Richardson over the top of the dig by Dockery. Bump set by Drunick, the setter. Here is Ross, and Ross gets another kill. Oh, Avery Ross, 8 kills on the night off the bench.
We can see Sydney Palazzo tying right now, 15 kills with Riley Cadle now at 15, but you can't sleep on Ross, who's constantly putting herself in good positions to get scrappy kills.
Free point for Duke on the service error by Notre Dame. 19-18, Duke in the lead by 1. Critical stretch here for both teams. Winner of this set takes a 2-1 lead heading into the fourth. Tied at 1 set apiece. 19-18, Duke in the third. Here is Richardson serving. Drunick back set, sliding over Tarnoff in the dig by Yap. Worthington sets up Johnson. Oh, right into the net, and we're tied at 19.
And that is not what Duke wants right there, right? Because Rachel Richardson in these past 2 sets has gone on long serving streaks. That's a really, really strong rotation for Duke that Notre Dame was able to get them out of in simply one side out.
Tied at 19 apiece. Maisie Alexander will serve. She was 3rd on the team last year in service aces with 23. Serves it up with the right hand, right at Sydney Yap. Here's Worthington, bump set, great setting up Johnson, and sails it wide of the line, out of bounds. Point for Notre Dame, the Irish, the first team to 20.
And I can see why they're utilizing Maisie Alexander now. Timeout by Jolene Nagel with Duke, but she's been really used as a serving specialist so far in this match. It's not worth having a middle blocker come into the back row and serve and then potentially have to play defense. You can kind of do some interesting schemes in substitutions, be able to have a serving specialist come in who's also a great defender, and then have your libero come in so that you never have that issue of maybe having somebody in the back who doesn't normally play back row.
So timeout Duke. Notre Dame takes the lead in the third set, 20-19. How about Sydney Palazzolo for Notre Dame? 14 kills so far on the night.
Absolutely, and like we've talked about, from the front row, from the back row, she's done an incredible job making herself a known presence here tonight. And again, she's tied with Riley Cadle for most kills right now in this match.
You see the numbers on Palazzolo. 15 kills, hitting .257. You know, we talked with Notre Dame head coach Salima Rockwell before the game. Asked her what's been the message to the team of late after dropping 2 straight. She told the team, let's focus on what we do. Let's get better each day. Let's make progress individually as well as a team. She said, hey, you got punched in the mouth twice last week. Let's respond and move forward. Right now, her team is taking the lead here in the third set, 20-19. Winner of this set takes a 2-1 lead.
Absolutely, and again, it's been really great point-for-point volleyball. It's basically a game to 5 at this point. So we're going to have to probably see more plays that are a little bit more standard. We're probably not going to see the right side come in and hit a 2, in the middle hit a slide. We're probably going to see a little bit more typical plays here.
First team to reach 25 points with at least a 2-point advantage wins the set. Here's the serve by Notre Dame. Worthington slide over. Cadle knocks it down. Kill by Cadle. Oh, has she been active here tonight?
She has been absolutely electric. Take a look at that. Middle blocker for Notre Dame couldn't even get up, and now she goes back to serve. But again, she's not normally a back row player, so this could be difficult for her defensively.
Cadle serves, tied up the set at 20 apiece. Here's the back set. Off balance as Palazzolo got blocked, but recovered by Duke. Here is Johnson on the attack, and blocked. Oh! Charity McDowell, number 18 up front. Access denied and returns to sender.
I like it. I like it. And we can see for Duke right now, setters front row, they have 2 hitters. So really they only have so many options. They're either going to run a 32, a slide, or a 4. Looks like it's going to be a slide.
Little joust over the net. Back on the Notre Dame side. Here is Ross over the top. Sliding dig from her knees by Yap. Here's Johnson on the attack, and the dig by Ross. Drunick for the back row. Palazzolo. Dig by Yap. Bump set by Worthington. And Johnson slightly over the top. Here's McDowell blocked. Back on the Notre Dame side. Drunick. And a kill goes down for Lucy Trump. kill by Trump. That's her first.
Making herself known here in this third set, and that's what I really love, that Coach Salima decided to put her in, even though she's been cold, obviously sitting for these first 2 sets. It's something that Duke hasn't seen before.
Fleming responds and gets a kill. Lizzie Fleming. That is her third kill, and it's 22-21. Duke down 1, back on serve. Here's Emma Worthington. She will serve it up for Duke as Sydney Yap goes out. Sydney Tomlak goes in for the Blue Devils. Here is Worthington serving, and that is just wide of the line, out of bounds, and a free point for Notre Dame.
That is a really tough time to miss your serve, but again, we have another substitution going in. Defensive specialist to really improve that defense here at the end. Neither team's going to worry about running out of subs. They just want to have the best defense possible.
Benitez serves at Duke. Here is Johnson with the right hand. Dig, kept alive, and that'll be 4 hits on Notre Dame, and a point for Duke, and it's now down 1, 23-22.
We have Richardson making her way back into the game for Duke, and she's been quietly puddling along here. Again, we talked about she doesn't have the most kills right now, but she's done a great job being able to pass, block, and be a great teammate.
Here's Drunick setting up Palazzolo. Dig by Johnson. Worthington is there. Back set for Keefe, and dug out by Drunick. Kept alive. No, it goes down. And the point for Duke, and we're tied at 23.
It's a game to 2, and that'll be a timeout.
Timeout, Notre Dame. Carrie Keefe, she's part of that 3-member attack up front that we talked about in the open of Johnson, Keefe, and Robinson. Robinson, though, out of the lineup here tonight, not able to play. A late scratch from the lineup here tonight for Duke. Tied at 23 apiece. What do you think it's going to come down to here in this set?
Who can serve and pass? We've seen a lot of unforced errors here already in these last 5 points. There's no room for that now. There's no more room for missed serves or hitting into the net. Both teams really need to tighten up on those unforced errors. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to get the world's most perfect pass. You really just have to focus on making it good.
So the Irish fans making the trip from South Bend to watch Notre Dame play Duke here in this match tonight. Tied at 1 set apiece. Tied in the third set at 23 all. Brock Bowling alongside Haley Brooke Weiss, former Wake Forest libero back in the day in Winston-Salem.
Absolutely. As somebody who's had to play both of these teams, I will tell you, historically, both of their gyms are really difficult to play in because they tend to get really packed, but especially with tonight being alumni weekend and it's Dig Pink tonight, I think there's just like a lot of exciting buzz here, and I really am surprised about the amount of green we're seeing out here.
Pretty good crowd here tonight at Cameron Indoor for Duke Volleyball. It's also alumni weekend. And now the team's back onto the floor. So Notre Dame looks like is out of timeouts. Duke 1 remaining, tied at 23 apiece here in set number 3. Each team 2 points away from the set right now. Gracie Johnson will serve for Duke, number 7 in white. And here is the serve by Gracie Johnson for Duke, tied at 23 apiece right at Benitez. Drunick sets it up for Palazzolo, blocked and denied by Fleming again, and it's set point for the Devils.
What an incredible play by Duke. We're going to take another look at that. What a set double block. I mean, there was nowhere for her to go, but I will say, if it's set point, I would rather be in serve receive than serving.
Oh,
and that's one of the reasons why.
Sailing out of bounds. Johnson hit it way too hard out of bounds on the serve. We're tied at 24 apiece.
We can see Coach Salima yelling for somebody to get ready to come off of the bench. Again, like we mentioned, I think there's going to be a lot of free substitutions here.
And that's out of bounds. Service error by Notre Dame and Monson, and now it's set point number 2 for Duke, leading at 25-24. And here is the libero, Madison Bryant, number 21 in the blue jersey, one of the team captains on this team, injured last year, had a long recovery. She's back this year, and here she is serving set point number 2 for Duke, right at Palazzolo. Drunick is there, setting up Palazzolo, backpedaling, blocked, hit over the net by Notre Dame. Worthington sets it up for Richardson, dig by Monson, little set up by Notre Dame. Palazzolo blocked, kept alive by Notre Dame. Trump on the follow, down it goes, and a kill by Trump, and we're tied at 25.
I love seeing, even though it was a tight, difficult play, look at that counter flow set. That just made it really difficult for the Duke defense to be able to reset themselves.
Tied at 25 apiece, must win by 2 in each set. Here we are, tied at 25 in the third, tied at 1 set apiece. Worthington backpedaling set for Keefe, cranks it up and throws it down. A kill by Keefe, and now set point again for Duke.
An absolute bullet. We can see, I mean, that was a pretty good set block. She did a great job swinging outside of her body and hitting that sharp shot, but Notre Dame should be aware at this point that she loves that sharp shot.
Here's the serve by Keefe. Oh, right into the net, and Notre Dame has saved 3 set points in this third set. And checking into the game, Sydney Yap, along with Riley Cadle. They're both back in for Duke. It's 26-26 here in the third set. And Sydney Palazzolo will serve for Notre Dame. A little moisture on the floor, getting the towels out there, wiping that up. Tied at 26 apiece in the third. Tied at 1 set apiece here in the match. Critical stretch here for both teams in this pivotal third set. Here's the serve by Palazzolo, right down the middle to Johnson. Bump set by Worthington, back to Johnson, and the dig by Trump. Bump set by Drunick. Ross over the top, sliding, diving dig by Bryant. And kept alive, hit over the net by Johnson. Point continues to the Irish, his side of the floor. Palazzolo, oh, big time kill by Sydney Palazzolo, number 16 on the night. And now it's set point for Notre Dame.
And if I'm Duke, I'm starting to get a little bit worried, not only because of Palazzolo, but because they're going to be in sub trouble now. Now that the game has been extended, I mean, every rotation of 6, they're using about 4 to 5 subs. And those go really, really fast, so we might see them get stuck in a particular lineup that they don't want to be in.
There's a look at Notre Dame's bench. Talked to Coach Salima Rockwell before the match. Asked her what are the keys for her team this weekend against Duke and Sunday at North Carolina. She said continue to serve tough and be better offensively in out-of-system situations and balls in transition out of those types of plays. Her team in a battle right now with Duke, tied at a set apiece. 27-26, Notre Dame leads in set 3. It'll be Notre Dame's set point on serve out of this timeout taken by Duke. There's Coach Rockwell. She was a 3-time All-American setter at Penn State. Played there 4 years, 91 through 94. Former assistant coach at her alma mater. Former assistant coach at Texas. Helped the Longhorns win the national title in 2012. Went into broadcasting, doing what you do now, Haley, and then she got the coaching bug and the itch, and now she's back on the sidelines for Notre Dame.
I think she's a little bit more qualified than I am. What an incredible resume, but I would expect nothing less from Notre Dame.
Last year, Notre Dame 10-18, 10 wins, already 8 wins this year, 2-2 in the league. This is set point for Notre Dame. Sydney Palazzolo will serve, number 12 in the navy blue jersey for the Irish. 27-26 Notre Dame. This is set point number 1 for the Irish. Up, skip it, a jump serve by Palazzolo at Johnson. Worthington is there, sets up for Richardson. Down it goes! Kill by Richardson, and we're tied at 27.
There is truly no telling who's going to be able to pull this out. Let's take a look. I mean, that is a bullet. Richardson has been quietly playing really, really well.
Richardson now serving for Duke, a deep one. Oh, too deep, just beyond the line. And now it's set point number 2 for Notre Dame, up 28-27.
I wouldn't be too worried if I was Duke. Notre Dame is now due to miss a serve if it's anything like these last 8 points have been.
Here's Lauren Tarnoff to serve, the 6'2 senior middle from Huntington Beach, California. Set point number 2 for Notre Dame here in the third set, and that is received by Johnson. Worthington is there, back to Johnson, dig by Palazzolo. They set it up for Ross, deflected to the net, recovered by Duke. Worthington tees it up for Johnson, puts it down! Oh, what a kill by Johnson, and we're tied at 28.
And there's no cap, folks. We could be here all night, point-for-point volleyball, just like this.
Tied at 28 apiece. Here's Riley Cadle to serve for Duke, right at Palazzolo, run down by Drunick. Palazzolo for the back row, dig by Keefe. Worthington to the other side, Johnson gently over the top, one-handed saving dig over the top, and oh, there's a kill by Fleming. It's blocked and goes down on the floor, and now it's set point number 4 for Duke.
I love seeing Sydney Palazzio's leadership, even after this huge kill by Duke. I see her in the huddle encouraging her teammates, talking to them, making sure that they're ready to rally.
The dump over, recovered by Duke. Worthington tees it up for Keefe, gently over the top, dig by Monson. They tee it up for Palazzolo, blocked and denied by Fleming, and Duke takes set free. From North Carolina, Cameron Indoor Stadium. We start set number 4. Duke serving, and away we go. Set number 4 is underway here in Durham. Here is Lucy Trump over the top. Diving, saving dig by Keefe, and hit over by Fleming. They set it up to Palazzolo. Hits it softly, dug out by Johnson. Worthington. Here is Keefe, cranks it up and fights through the block and gets the kill.
And I really think that first point was going to be very important for Duke. They really came back in that last set. They were able to fight off, win 30-28. And I think that this is the momentum that they needed to be able to really keep Notre Dame down.
Almost a service ace. Here is Trump over the top of the dig by Duke. Worthington, Fleming, dig by Monson. They set it up for Palazzolo, and that's out of bounds. No, they say touch. Touched by Duke, kill by Palazzolo. 17 kills for her, and it's tied at 1 apiece.
I know I saw Coach Rockwell make an absolute beeline to her green card. She was not going to be having that.
Hattie Monson to serve for Notre Dame, almost an ace. Back set for Keefe. Another fight through the block and a kill by Keefe. 12 kills for Keefe. And a point for Duke.
Keefe has really been lighting it up. I know we've talked a lot about Gracie Johnson tonight with 17 kills, but Keefe does have a better hitting percentage. She's hitting a .333 tonight.
Service ace by Johnson. Might have been some miscommunication in that back row for Notre Dame. Service ace by Johnson, 3-1 Duke.
And you also have to remember the psychological pressure right now that's on Notre Dame. They're down. They absolutely have to win this set. They don't want to get down big here in the beginning.
Drunick tees it up for Trump, cranks it up in the dig by Johnson. Running back there is Bryant. Then a free ball. It's over the net by Richardson. Point continues. Drunick sets it up for Trump, and there's a touch out of bounds off of Duke. Kill by Trump. That's her third point for Notre Dame.
It's been exciting to see Trump in this past set and now in this set really heat up, hitting about a 150, but nonetheless contributing.
Trump back to serve for Notre Dame. Again, she did not play in sets 1 and 2. Very active in set 3. There's Fleming, and Fleming gets another kill.
Alive.
Fleming, kill number 5. Hit 500 on Sunday at Florida State, and having a good match here tonight. Offensively, defensively, Duke in the lead by 2.
Fleming doing a great job hitting 400. I mean, Duke's top hitters, 462, 400, 333, 205. Those are fantastic numbers up at the net.
Drunick from her knees sets it up for Palazzolo. Dig by Johnson. Whistle. What do we have? We have...
Hit the antenna.
Oh, hit the antenna.
So it is out. So it either went around the antenna or hit the antenna. I assume it probably brushed it because I feel like it was right at the up rep. She might have seen it if it was around the antenna. But that is the line judge's call to tell the up rep if it's hit the antenna or it's gone past it.
Service error by Bryant and a point for Notre Dame. So Duke won that thrilling third set to take a 2-1 lead. You've played this game at this level. When you're on the road, first 2 sets tied to 1 apiece. If you lose that third set, how debilitating can that be if you're trailing?
Extremely debilitating, because you have the longest break between sets typically happens between the second and the third. So you just had a 3-minute break where you ran to the locker room with coach. You just talked about everything you're doing wrong. You talked about the strategy, and then you go out and lose that set. It starts to feel like it's going really fast past you.
Carrie Keefe serving. Oh, almost a let serve ace. Somehow cleared the tape. Here's Richardson, cranks it up down the line, and a touch out of bounds off of Notre Dame. Kill by Richardson, her 3rd point Duke.
I would be surprised if Coach Rockwell didn't call a timeout here soon, just because it feels a little sloppy by Notre Dame. Once you get into 2-balling and pokes and weird stuff, you normally just need to calm your team down.
Service error by Carrie Keefe and a free point for Notre Dame. As a Tarnoff goes out for Notre Dame, Maisie Alexander in, number 2 in the navy blue uniform. Maisie Alexander, 3rd on the team in service aces last year, had 125 digs in 2022, serves it aggressively here for Notre Dame, and that'll be a service ace.
A lot of aces here tonight, a lot of errors here tonight. You typically only want, 1-to-1 ratio at minimum, aces to errors, which we don't have tonight, and you really only want to be missing as a team 2 serves per set. So we have a lot of unforced errors so far. Johnson over the top dig by Notre Dame. Here is Palazzolo punching it over, dig by Yap. They slide it over to Cadle, and Cadle gets another kill. Oh, she's been outstanding tonight. Cadle really has been outstanding right there with her 10th kill. It just brings so much balance on the court when you have Gracie Johnson on the strong side and her running slides behind the setter's head. It just elongates the amount of net that Notre Dame has to cover.
Saving dig by Yap. Here is Fleming. No, it's Cadle rather. Kept alive.
It's still up.
Cadle again. This time knocks it down. Another kill by Cadle.
Notre Dame was kind of hoping to get an overcall, but I would be really surprised if they do not call a timeout here soon. Because again, it's kind of getting away from them here in this 4th set.
Richardson serving, almost an ace. They tee it up for Palazzolo, blocked and kept alive by Notre Dame. Ross over the top, dig by Johnson. Worthington is there, back set, sliding over. Cadle, another kill! Oh, she's been outstanding tonight.
Another fantastic kill by Cadle, which now puts her close to 2nd on the team. And she's hitting a 562. That is insane. Excuse me, they updated a 588.
They tee it up for Ross, blocked, and there's a point for Duke. Oh, everything clicking here for Duke in set 4.
And that'll be your timeout by Coach Rockwell. Down 6. Can Notre Dame get a run going here in this 4th set?
11-5 here in set number 4. Here's a look at the stars for Duke this evening. Johnson, Cadle, and Keefe. You look at the kills, 17, 12, and 12. 200, 588 for Cadle, and 333 for Keefe.
Absolutely, and again, we knew the trifecta was going to be good. I don't know if we thought they were going to be this good.
Richardson serving for Duke right at Dockery. They set it up for Palazzolo, blocked at the net by Duke. Blocked again. Kept alive by Richardson. Worthington tees it up for Johnson. Dig by Ross. 2-hand tap over by Notre Dame's Palazzolo. They set it up for Johnson again, and the dig by Palazzolo hits off the scoreboard, comes back down, and that's hit over by Ross. Dig by Bryant. Johnson gently over the top. Here's Drunick, the setter, sliding dig by Richardson, back over the net by Duke. Here's Drunick, Ross off balance, blocked and denied by Cadle, and it goes down for Duke.
What another incredible play here in Cameron Indoor Coliseum. Let's take another look at that. incredible block. It looked like it really was going to go in the seam, and they were able to get that. Now we see Notre Dame wiping up the floor. I'm not sure if it needed a wiping, but I know in college, if we already took a timeout and we were down big, my coach would always tell me, go get the towel. You got to wipe something up. We need to slow this game down.
Richardson serving, almost an ace. Drunick back set, looking for Schrader, and the dig by Yap. That's punched over the net by Worthington. Drunick sets up Ross, and blocked by Duke. Back on the Irish side, Palazzolo over the top, and the dig by Yap. Run down on a bump set by Worthington. Johnson, dig by Monson. She's been all over the place tonight. Schrader, dig by Johnson again. They set it up for Gracie Johnson. Sails, one official says out, one says in, and they overrule it and say out of bounds off of Duke.
Definitely a lot going on here tonight in this play, as we see Lucy Trump check back in. And Notre Dame is now back in rotation 1, which has historically been a pretty strong rotation for them. So we're going to have to see how they're able to capitalize and if they're able to stay in this rotation.
So Notre Dame back on serve, down 6, 12-6. Duke doubling up on the Irish here in set number 4. Notre Dame must win this set to extend it to a 5th and deciding set. Duke ahead of the match, 2-1. Ahead here in set 4 as well. Here is Drunick serving. Worthington back set, sliding over Cadle, blocked, kept alive by Notre Dame. Drunick back set for Trump, and that ricochets off a Duke player, and a kill by Trump.
The line judge was getting a little action. He got pegged as well, unfortunately for him. I would not want to be in the line of fire from one of Trump's swings. We can see she just does such a great job with her command of her attack.
Here's Johnson with the right arm, dig by Ross. They set it up back for Ross. Diving, saving dig by Bryant. Here is Johnson over the top of the corner, and it goes in for the kill.
It is so hard to defend Johnson because no matter how you set up your defense, she really opens it up. Like here, we can see that Notre Dame, they're kind of in perimeter defense, except they're sending their setter up short, which leaves that line wide open. So you really have to play rotational defense against her.
Obvious double contact there. That ball was out of system in so many ways for Notre Dame. Point for Duke, and back to serve Riley Cadle. She's had a heck of a match here tonight. 12 kills. Her dad ran track and field at Colorado. Grandfather played football at Wyoming. Very athletic family that she comes from. Serves it up for Duke. They set it up for Trump again, and down it goes. Kill by Trump. That's her 5th point, Notre Dame.
Trump has really been lighting it up. Again, finding more balance for Notre Dame, because right now the top kills are 17, 8, 5, and now Trump as well with 5. But it's a big discrepancy, whereas over with Duke, it's 18, 12, 12, 5. So Duke just has a lot more balance in their offense.
And Fleming hammers it home, her 6th kill. Lizzie Fleming, known for her consistency as an attacker and a good blocker on D as well.
I mean, she hit over the block, which makes sense because your approach jump theoretically should be higher than a block jump, which is just a standing jump.
Serving is Worthington for Duke, in the lead by 7 in the set. Here is Trump gently over the top, diving, sliding dig by Keefe. Here's Johnson with the right arm, cranks it up, blocked, recovered by Notre Dame. They set it up for Trump on the back set and knocks it down. Kill by Trump, number 6 on the night.
And that's just a great delivered ball by Drunick. I love seeing her leadership. I think she does a great job. In between points, she goes and encourages each one of her defenders. She's talking to her hitters. I think she's doing a great job leading this team, even though they're down by 6.
Johnson down the line, way out of bounds, and a point for Notre Dame.
And Monson back at the service line, but she's been incredible on defense tonight.
She serves it up for Notre Dame. Here's Fleming again and gets another kill. Oh, they can miss consistency. Lizzie Fleming, 7 kills on the night. She's been blocking. She's been attacking well. Another point for Duke.
Really difficult play. You could see that Notre Dame decided to send their middle back over to area 1 a little bit, kind of a again, a pseudo-rotational defense, which just, again, maybe not the best play against that particular hitter.
Here's Nikki Underwood serving, number 13 in white, 5'11 junior, serves it up. Oh, too deep, out of bounds, point for Notre Dame. Irish hanging around here, down 5 after Duke got out to a fast start in the 4th set.
And now you do have Lucy Trump in the back row, so they can still run her in the back row, but you do lose her at her best efficiency, which is in the front.
Service error by Notre Dame, and it goes back over to Duke. And Cadle goes back in for Duke, replacing Lizzie Fleming. Back to serve for the Blue Devils is the libero, number 21, Madison Bryant, 5'10", grad student from Anderson, South Carolina.
This is a great serve-receive rotation for Notre Dame, right where they want to be.
Good serve by Bryant, and free ball over by Monson. Point continues. Underwood, Worthington, Keefe, blocked, kept alive, but not for long. Out of bounds off of Duke, and a point for Notre Dame.
Really, after that first 7-ish points, it seems like Notre Dame has been doing a good job making it point-for-point volleyball, but when you start with such a deficit, it makes it so difficult. We can see that coverage ball just wasn't quite high enough for the Friends to help out.
Palazzolo serving for Notre Dame, and that's a service ace. Sydney Palazzolo, 22 aces on the season coming into this match tonight. Has a few of those. She leads the team in that category, leads the team in kills. All-around great 6-rotation player for this Notre Dame team. She'll serve it again for the Irish, and that's back-to-back aces by Palazzolo, and now it's a 3-point set, 17-14.
Things are starting to get tight, and we can see Nikki Underwood, number 13 for Duke, 5'11", DS libero. Quite a tall DS libero, but see, look, she was in serve receive and middle back. They've shifted her over because the serve receive just wasn't quite there.
Here's Keefe with the left hand, gently taps it over and drops it down for the kill on the point. Carrie Keefe, kill number 13. All ACC freshman team a year ago, point for Duke.
Look at that tip. And again, I do hate seeing tips as kills just because you want the other team to tip at you. You should want to run down that ball, but it is hard on defense because you're used to getting sniped on defense, honestly. So then you're set up with your weight back on your heels. You're ready to play up at hands, down low. And then when it's a tip, all your momentum has to move forward. It's very difficult.
Yeah, it keeps the other team on its toes, no doubt about it. 18-14, Duke serving is Keefe. Here's Drunick, back set, sliding over Tarnoff, and fights through the block by Richardson, gets the kill to the point. Kill by Tarnoff, number 6. So Notre Dame hanging around, down 18-15 here in set 4. Duke won a thrilling set 3, 30-28, and took that momentum into the 4th set, got out to a good start. Now the lead is down to 3 for Duke here in set 4. Notre Dame serving down 3, 18-15. Tarnoff, little hop, skip, and a jump serve right at Underwood. Bump set by Richardson. Here is Keefe gently over the top. Dig by Dockery. Drunick tees it up for Trump and Ross, and Ross gets the kill out of bounds off of Duke.
I will say libero for Duke, Madison Bryant, grad student. I love seeing her leadership out there. The serve receive pattern that they were in just wasn't working. So she decided to shift over, send Richardson up, move over Underwood, and now we see a substitution, getting Carrie Keefe out of serve receive, which I think is really gonna help this difficult pattern for them.
Richardson blocked, recovered by Duke, kept alive, and two-hand tap over by Bryant. Point continues on the Irish side. Here is Palazzolo, big-time arm swing, dug out by Duke, and there's Richardson over the top and puts it down.
I love a good dunk. We don't see that a lot from outside hitters. I feel like we see that a lot more from middle blockers on a one ball, but it was exactly what the doctor ordered, and she did a great job finding the court, not just throwing it directly at a player.
Richardson got the kill. She now serves for Duke. Here is Drunick setting it up for Ross. Blocked and rejected by Riley Cadle. She's doing it all tonight for Duke.
And what I've noticed is Notre Dame has sped up their offense to the outside. I'm not sure if they're doing it on purpose or if they're just more excited. as the game has gone on, but it's actually making it a little bit easier on the Duke block because it's so fast. The outside really right now is only able to hit cross.
The dump over by the setter, Drunick, and puts it down with a point. Point for Notre Dame.
Another tactical overpass. It was all on purpose. At least that's what I always told my coaches.
Here's Nicole Drunick. In her third different Division I school, played at Nebraska, Georgia Tech, now transfers over to Notre Dame. Setting for this team, here's Johnson over the top, kept alive on a diving bump set by Monson. Bryant, here comes Johnson over the top, deflected, kept alive, over the net by Monson. Point continues to Bryant. They set up Johnson, deflected, dug out by Notre Dame's Palazzolo. Trump over the top of the dig by Worthington. Bump set by Bryant. Here's Johnson gently over the top of the dig by Ross. Kept alive. Trump over the net. Bump set by Madison Bryant. And there's Johnson on the attack.
What a scrappy play. This is the scrappiest play of the night.
Johnson into the net. Might have been a fatigue swing on that play and a point for Notre Dame.
Yeah, that was her 60th attempt. I would say the arm is barking at that point.
A good point. Both teams were out of system for the most part on that point, but good play by both teams.
I mean, she almost has half of the team's attempts. And then you have plays. Ooh.
And Johnson can't get there. It's out of bounds off of Duke, and Notre Dame hanging around, only down one now, 20-19 in the fourth.
Well, I was going to say, then you have Palazzolo, who only has 52 attempts, which is still a ton. But it's incredible that Gracie Johnson has even more. And Duke is still so balanced.
So 20-19, Duke in the lead in the fourth set. Duke 5 points away from the win. Notre Dame has to win this point to extend it to a fifth and deciding set. Let's talk hitting percentages here for Duke and Notre Dame. You see the hitting percentages by set. Notre Dame easily better in the first set. Duke taking command in sets 2, 3, and 4.
And like we talked about prior to the game, Duke typically wins when they're hitting over just at 200. So we can really see that record here when they're hitting at least at 200. They're 9-1. When they're hitting under 200, they're 1-4. So that's really, I think, the biggest difference that we're seeing tonight is the passing improved. They were only passing about a 1.43 in the first set. It made their offense quite myopic, really one-dimensional. And now that they have this great spread and they're playing against a team that is a little bit more one-dimensional, you really only have Palazzolo with 17 kills, Avery Ross then with 9. That's a big jump down. And then Lucy Trump, who really has only been seen in these last 2 sets, and she absolutely is making a contribution. But it's hard because she really has only gotten the ball 14 times.
All right, so Duke and Notre Dame back onto the floor. Duke 5 points away from the win here. Haley, what does it have to do to close it out here in 4?
Staying locked in and mitigating the unforced errors. We saw a lot at the end of the last set. Hitting into the net. Serving out, serving into the net. They have to tighten it up.
Notre Dame serving after the timeout taken by Duke. Here's Johnson. Dig by Palazzolo. High in the air. Little joust at the net. And that's hit over the net by Ross. Whistle. What do we have? We have is it a net violation? I believe a net.
It's an overcall. So basically because Notre Dame's setter is back row, when it was a really tight pass, she went up to try to save the ball. So it all depends when that ball was contacted, because technically Duke cannot reach over and impact that play until after the second contact. You can only go over after the second contact. So that's kind of what they're arguing about. Is she's saying, well, I'm the setter, I'm going up, it was a tight ball, I was trying to save it. And they're saying, well, contact was actually made after that touch. When in reality, she also can't cross the plane of the net. There's just a lot going on. So I think it's gonna be point Duke. But it looks like down ref may take a look at the replay, but I don't think Coach Rockwell's going to challenge it.
Call on the floor was point Duke, and looks like it's going to stand, at least for the moment. We're still talking it over. Right now, point Duke, 21-19 doubles.
Notre Dame still holding on to the ball, though.
They took the point off the board. It's back to 20-19.
Let's take a look.
I think they're going to replay the point.
So you can see when she goes up, she tried to reach over to save the ball, and the Duke player didn't make contact, and she saved the ball. So really, I actually would have gone with Notre Dame with that.
Cadle knocks it down. Riley Cadle, kill number 13, tying her career high for kills in the match. A baker's dozen for her here tonight. And Cadle goes back to serve. So Duke, after replaying the point, wins the point, 21-19. Cadle serving down the line. Wow, what a pass by Monson. And a free ball over by Schrader. Here's Worthington, tees it up for Johnson. Down it goes! Kill by Johnson, her 19th of the night.
Gracie Johnson is absolutely on fire. She's only hitting a 131, but you have to think she's been getting so many balls. Her arm's gonna be sore tomorrow. I bet you they're gonna let her have a little pass from serve and pass. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of her big kills from tonight that have been so impactful for this tight game. I, again, love seeing these arsenal of shots. She's one of those players where I wouldn't know whether I should play rotational or a perimeter defense against her. I've kind of seen some movement on what kind of defense Notre Dame has played against her, but we can see she dropped 25 kills against Florida State, which is unbelievable, with a hitting percentage of .429. Tonight, 19 kills, only hitting 131, but again, she just has so many attempts. They are feeding her the ball whenever possible. She has 61 attempts. The next player has 27. So she over doubles it, and she's doing a great job with it.
Johnson, the 6-foot grad student outside hitter from Virginia Beach, Virginia. 19 kills tonight. She had 25, as you saw in the graphic, against Florida State on Sunday. Her career high in a match is 29. And, you know, Duke lost at Florida State on Sunday. Duke in that match hit .325 in the loss. Florida State hit .351. A lot of good offense run by both teams in that 5-setter 5 days ago.
I love ACC volleyball. I'm a little partial. It's my favorite volleyball to watch because it really is anybody's conference, and there's no ACC tournament, so it's all about how you do in these games here in conference play.
Cadle serves for Duke down the line. Here's Drunick to the other side. Trump has to hang in the air. It's blocked and put back down off of Notre Dame. A point for Duke. And the Devils 3, making it 2 points away from the win.
A bit of a trap set again by Nicole Drunick. We've seen quite a few of those tonight when the pass isn't great, especially in this rotation one where she has to run through.
Drunick tees it up for Schrader, sails it long out of bounds, and now it's match point for Duke after losing set 1. Duke took sets 2 and 3, and now Duke has quintuple match point, 5 match points to work with to try and close it out in 4. Here is Riley Cadle to serve for Duke. Drunick tees it up to the side. Trump blocked out of bounds. Kill by Trump. That's her 7th, and Notre Dame saves 1 match point.
Again, it's still anybody's game. We have defensive specialists going in now for Avery Ross. She's got a great serve. But like I talked about after that 3rd set, I really thought it would be difficult for Notre Dame to come back because of the emotion of losing a game or a set 30-28.
Match point number 2. Johnson over the top, dug up by Manitsis. Here is Palazzolo off balance. Sails it wide of the line, out of bounds, and that is it. Duke takes set 4, 25-20. Duke wins the match 3-1 and ends its 2-match losing skid.